jack up underneath the support. You can see the notch out in the frame. So you're gonna jack it up so that the tire's still touching the ground. Like that. Okay, so now we're gonna snap the axle nut right here. So I got a 32 on it. It's a little loose, but it fits and it works. So ready, 1, 2. There it is. I don't recommend using impacts on this nut because there's threads that are built into it so that it doesn't loosen while you drive. Okay, so once you're at this point, you took off the axle nut, took off all the studs. Now you can go ahead and just jack up the vehicle so that the tire is off the ground. Then you just grab it and you go. There we go. And that's the first step on our journey here. So our next step is we're going to take the caliper with the holder clip here, and you're going to take off the 2 strut bolts, the tie rod end bolt, and your lower ball joint here. All right, these are the tools you're going to need. You're going to need a 14 for the caliper, 18 and a 22 for your struts, and then you're going to need the 18 for your tie rod end, and you're going to need wrench here for the bottom ball joint, and then I have 2 3/4 inch drives and quarter drive and the screwdriver. Okay, so you can go around now, start popping out all the safety clips on the tie rod end, lower ball joint. Doing that right now. You just pop out easily, press down on them, slide out. Some are harder than others because it's tight. So you come to your caliper right now, grab your 14. These are your slider pins here, so you can just loosen these off little by little till they're out. Try and not get those dirty because you're gonna have to clean them up afterwards. I like taking it all apart so you can redo everything, make sure everything slides nice. Re-grease them, give it some love. There you go. And you got a big one and a small one. The big one's at the top, the small one's at the bottom. So now you can go ahead, slide out the caliper, take the pads out. Just remember how they go back together. And then I made this stupid coat hanger here so you can just hold it up while you work. It's not in your way with anything else. Okay, so next is the clip. We're gonna knock those off here with your 18. Again, this is gonna be really hard to get off. That's why I use the pry bar. Sneak it in under here like this, and it gives you enough so you can crack it nice. And unfortunately, the only way to go up to crack them is to go up on this side. The other side is opposite. Ones. Throw that out to the side. Keep the bolts together, so you know that all comes together. And then you come over here, pull off your rotor. Check it. This one's pretty bad with grooves. I'm gonna have to change them. So you can see the pad itself looks like it's pressing into the rotor. You can see some wear. So I'm gonna have to change the rotors very soon. Okay, so our next step here is we're gonna take the 2 strut bolts off, the tie rod bolt off, and the bottom ball joint bolt off. Okay, so now we're gonna take the bolt off for the tie rod end. I'm just gonna hit up top here very lightly, and hopefully it pops out. Okay, there you go. Just put that off to the side. Next, we're gonna go for the bottom ball joint. No, actually, we'll go for the struts because they're harder to get off, and you need like support from the bottom to crack them. So just get 2 wrenches. Again, you're gonna need a pry bar. I already pre-cracked them, but if you throw a bar on this side, you just go like that. 2 wrenches. You get the bolts nice and loose. Just loosen them back right now. So down here to the bottom ball joint, and you just crack it, spin it off. You can see I'm just taking the nut off. Ooh. Once you got your lower ball joint nut off, just give it hits around the ball joint at the top of the knuckle here. Don't hit, try to avoid hitting down here. Just hit there because rust and stuff builds up and they become really miserable to get off. So I got my big long pry bar here. So what I'm going to do is stick it in my breaker bar across here to the subframe, and then just have it on the suspension part here, the lower control arm. So if you back this out nice like that, you put your foot on it. When you press on the suspension, there, the ball joint breaks out. Just got to come up here, undo these two nuts. I'm going to do it right now. Anytime I take this stuff apart, I just try to clean it up, remove everything, so that if you ever have to do it again, let's just try to mark where it's sitting now, so we can try to line it back up again. It's very important to try to put everything back exactly. So if you just mark down here, in between the bolts here, there's a little bit of play. So if you put everything back together and you don't have it lined up perfect, what happens is your camber angle will be off. There we go. Everything's punched out now. There it is. Push in your CV shaft. Okay, just give it, grab your rubber mallet. Just give it a couple love taps in so it backs out. There it is. Just pressure fitted in there. Okay, so here's our noisy wheel bearing. You can hear it. Drives me freaking nuts. So now what we got to do is press out the spindle in the middle of the bearing. And I'm going to show you how to do that without any special tools. Okay, so all I'm using here is a 1 1/8 socket. And you got to make sure, come over here, the socket fits perfectly around the bearing like that. So you want to make sure it fits like this. I just jerry-rigged this up best I could. I know it's ghetto, but hey, I'm saving money on renting tools and it works, right? So what you want to do is just hold it there like that and whack it, bada boom, bada big. This O-ring clip gets stuck onto the bearing, so we're going to have to grind that off. You can see here the bearing broke, snap. So our next job now is to try and get the rest of this bearing out. Fun. Okay, so this is what's left over inside the wheel bearing here. I had to go buy a socket right here. It's 40 mil. Stick it in there like that so it grabs the lip on the inside. There's a lip it can grab, so it just fits the socket. And through the front face here, where the bearing sits on that lip against there, I already took a couple whacks out to just see if it's gonna work. Yep, it's gonna work. So we put the socket back in there like that, so it's nice and tight against everything. And we're just gonna start trying to beat it out, what's left of it. Let's just take a quick little look. It's coming out slowly. Let's make sure it's straight. It's coming. Finally out. You just want to take a rag, clean up any fibers, get some oil, re-oil it before you start putting in the new one. Okay, so what I just did right now was I took some oil. I just oiled the bearing, oiled the pocket here. So when we try to put it in evenly, that it's going to have a little bit of lubrication. And so we're just going to line it up now. Let's get it ready to put in place. There we go. Okay, so now we're just going to slowly try to beat this in. I'm just gonna use a hockey puck so it's an even weight distribution around the bearings just to start pressing it in. So let's just see how it goes. It's going in nice. So I have to flip it around. You can see how much more we have to go here. It's quite a bit. So we're going to take this coupling here that came off of the old one, and we're just going to put it around this outer ring so we're not hitting any of the inner parts of the bearing. As you saw in the first videos, they're pretty cheap, so we'll put our point of impact, make sure that's straight like that. And we just want to give it some light hits. Alright, we're even all the way around. Yep. Okay. Came off tilt there. Hang on. Bigger hammer. Coming slowly. You just gotta have patience, take your time, just try to work it. Okay, so I beat it far enough so that this lip here can grab in the, so it won't slide. So we got to that point. So you can see I'm doing a lot of damage on this puck right now. It's okay, we'll grab another one. Okay, so we used the old housing from the old wheel bearing to hold it around the inner seal here and knock the new one further in, and we used hockey pucks. We had to go through 2 hockey pucks. You can see the second one took quite a beating, but it does a nice job. As you can see, we have it right against the outer wall here, and now we just got to put in the retaining clip. Okay, so what I did here was I just made up my own clamp grabbers, took some pair of needle nose, put some bends on the end of them so I can grab this thing and put it in nice. So as you can see, you just squeeze it like that, or you can stick it in, and just like that. Now she sits solid. Just take it, just make sure she spins nice. Yeah, so far so good. We're just gonna grab the grinder, grind this without hitting this. You don't want to hit this at all and cause damages like that. It's not good. So I'm just gonna grab the grinder here, do a couple cuts, get it so I can get a chisel or a flathead in there and take this piece of metal off. So, as I was showing you before, this was the part of the wheel bearing left over that was stuck on the sleeve of the spindle, just like that. So I put a slit in it like that, and you grab a flathead screwdriver and just stick it on top of the cut where you did, and just hit down like that, and it will split, and then it's loose, it just pops off just like that. And then we got our spindle and we got our hub in place now, so all we need to do is put our spindle into the bearing like so. Just get a couple love taps in the middle. We're lined up all the way around. I can feel it, it's sitting on the plate. I'm just gonna get a couple love taps to start it off. That side. just want to start it off as straight as possible. Take a look every once in a while and just give it a couple of hits there and there. Let's see, it's going straight. Okay guys, we're going to put our new wheel bearing assembly back together. As you can see, I pressed it in. Everything seems to be fine. It's nice and smooth. I got a nice gap distance on the inside there, so nothing's rubbing. It's almost to the end on the inside here. Looks good. Okay, so we're gonna pop that on there. Grab our CV boot, CV arm, slide it in there like that. So get that wiggling around till we find the right home for her. Just takes some messing around because everything's flopping around right now. Okay, so what I did there was I pushed down on the suspension to slide the strut in the 2 bolt holes. Put your bolts in, put your washers, put your nut. Just kind of hand tighten everything for now, so find the right place for everything. And now the lower ball joint bolt is right here. Just press down. Sometimes you gotta just press down. Oh no, this one. Okay, put it on. Spot right here. Okay. Now we can come around here and slide in our tie rod in. Like that. Put the bolt back on. Just for now. Okay. So now from here we can go ahead and tighten up all these bolts. Your strut bolts, 2 strut bolts, tie rod end bolt, and your lower ball joint bolt. Okay, so I put the strut back together. I put the lower ball joint on with the safety clip and the tie rod with the safety clip with the bolt. Put the brakes back on, like I said, and that's pretty much it. Just put the tire on now and torque the axle nut. So just put the tire as tight as you can, like that. Hands, no extensions. Let it down all the way. A little bit more down like that. Then we do our roll test on the lug nuts. Oh, handbrake's on. Handbrake. Go. Turn it anymore. Let's pull it to a lead. Anywhere. She's good. So now I'm just going to take it for a test run and make sure there's no noises and everything's okay. Okay. No vibrations, no humming. Seems like we did the job. High five!